Hey everybody, this is Laurel with the North Raleigh Seed Library and with Mavis, who is not very interested in what I have to say today. However, we are going to talk about losing your fear of moving plants. So I move my plants like I move furniture in the house, and it drives people bananas. And I actually have a nickname. They call me the Yanker, which but I am terrible about not digging it up and doing it right. I just really pull them right up by the roots and stick them in the ground. Now, this video is all about what not to do, but what I've been pretty successful at. I've only lost a handful of plants, but for the most part, it's doing all right. So let me tell you a couple of things that I've moved, and using the yank method that I have perfected. As long as you get them right in the ground right away and water them down real good and baby them with lots of good dirt, then it really does work for me. Now, here goes. Ready? Every week, sometimes many times in the week, I move plants because I get bored or I have a new idea. And I know a lot of times people get real nervous about how do you do it, or where should you put it. And anyway, there's no reason to fear. I'm telling you, if it doesn't work out, come to the seed library and get something else. It's all free. And just experiment. So what might work great in one part of your yard might stink in another part of your yard. I've got a really good friend who gave me super advice. Shout out to Eileen. She has a place where she dug a hole and put pots in, just the black pots. And then she can put in other plants inside of the black pot. She just inserts the original pot with plant in that space, and then she can take them out and she can move it around, and it makes it more able to handle a place that's difficult to grow stuff. And you can change out seasonal plants and always have something fresh and blooming, and it works great. So another thing too that's kind of fun is if you have planters. Everybody has, the planters that you rotate around your yard till you find the sweet spot, just the space that they want to live their happy life. Well, for me, planters are fun, but I prefer getting them in dirt because it's sort of like going to Vegas, I would think. It's one of those things that it's luck of the draw's not a good word. So how about spot? Luck of the spot. And that is what I'm looking for. It's a place that I can see something and know it's exactly where it's supposed to be until the next day. And then it's also a place that coordinates with the colors, because a lot of times, I don't know about you guys, but when I get plants on sale or I get plants that are not in bloom, you kind of don't know what you have until it starts flowering. And I want to make sure that everything is combined with the right colors in the right places. Well, for example, just the other day, excuse me, Rose and Margaret came over and they said, Laura, you got too much white in this spot in your rose garden. So, I waited and I thought about it and I looked at it and they're completely right. So I yanked it up and I put in something that had more color, and it's perfect. It's exactly what the space needed. So let me show you what I moved this morning, and I'll sort of talk you through what I've tried. I've tried so many things that didn't work, plans, where you think, well, this is really going to look good, and it just didn't. And it's okay to fail. Failure in gardening is half the fun, because it's sort of like, when you don't do well on a diet and then you get with your friends and you commiserate together. And it's the same thing with gardening. Oh, I tried that and blah, blah, blah. It is really a good way to connect, because if we were all perfect, we would be very boring. And plus, I might not want to hang out with you. So anyway, because I make enough mistakes for everybody. So here goes, right? I'm going to flip this camera around. Thank you, Michelle, again for the selfie stick, because it's invaluable. And we're going to just walk around and I'm going to just tell you what I've changed and why I changed it and when I changed it and why I'm probably going to change it again. All right, stay tuned. Okay, let's start with this fence. First of all, I found it at the salvage yard, which is ideal because it's only 75 cents a pound. You can't do better than that. And it started off as a plastic fence that I got online. And it had a little plastic, you probably remember some pictures I posted. It was a plastic little arch that you went through. And I had all these intentions of growing rose vines. And well, I realized that the plastic just wasn't that strong. And it just wasn't going to hold up because the first big wind was going to take it away. So when I looked up on the fence, I was so excited. So I snagged it. But because I didn't want, I don't want to ask Mike for help because it just adds more on his project list. And I got other projects he's working on, and I don't want to take him off that. I'm terrible, I know. So I found candy cane rebar, and I just hit the candy cane rebar. Let me show you. Looks like candy canes for real. One on one side, one on the other side to anchor my fence. So that worked out really, really well. And now in a storm, it won't knock over. Now, see this round gate? I got it at an estate sale years ago. And I used it as an arbor, and I planted a vine all the way up it. So it was covered in this vine. Well, when I got the fence, it was a perfect companion, so I took the vine off and I moved it to a different location, and now it's holding up my climbing roses. So see these boxwoods? Amy and I wound up going to a lady's house that was giving tons of boxwoods away, and it was because she was building a new garage. Well, here's the kicker. It was in the middle of July and it was hot as blazes. So, just like with anything, got them, planted them, and yes, they've moved several times, but it was the right thing because what? You have a 50-50 chance when you do that, and I'm not complaining. So, okay, this on this side has been a hot mess so many times. It has changed a million times. Just 2 weeks ago, I threw in the hosta. Right here used to be a hydrangea, and then it used to be a goldfish bush. That's what I call a bush that I killed. It was a rose bush that Rose had given me, and it just didn't make it, so I went and I bought another one and I put it in its place, and so I call it my goldfish bush, because like if a kid's goldfish doesn't make it, hint hint. And then I decided no, it needed more sun, it just wasn't doing well here, so I went and I dug up this other bush that was in the back of my yard. Come to find out, it is a snow rose. How cool is that? Well, I thought that was going to be the end of it, but then I found another little rose and I said, "Ooh, it looks kind of like baby's breath." So I planted another rose a couple of days ago beside of the snow rose. So I went ahead, and everything in here's got a story. Had all of this area as a border garden. It was the prettiest border garden. And going down this path right here used to be a line of liriope where the hosta are, and it also had daylilies in there on both sides, and the rest of it was a hot mess of grass and then clover, and let's see, what else did we try in there? Moss. We tried everything, but I had a drainage problem. So Rose told me, she said, "Laurel, you got to do something about that," because it was just getting kind of overgrown looking with the daylilies and the liriope. So that's all it took. The next day, I started ripping out my garden. So I pulled up all the stuff in the border for the most part and rehomed it. Thank you, Margaret. You know about that. Thanks to Margaret, a lot of it didn't go in compost. It went straight to new homes. And because I've had such a hard time with drainage, I had built a patio and then put down some rock. And then I've always wanted a rose garden. So I said, well, why not? So I moved every rose from that side of the yard over to this side of the yard and then added in. So it's going to be roses and hydrangeas. And every time that I get going on this, I see another thing that needs to be added. Like this morning, I decided that this fence did not have enough coverage on it for the roses that I planted. I know it's going to spread, it's going to take some time. I'm impatient. I make no secret about it. So I yanked up the rose that I planted the other day over there and instead put it down here so it could hurry and jump up this side of the fence. And I'm so much happier with it. So, okay, now we're going inside here, and this is a space that had too many white roses. So I yanked those up, moved them over here, and put a red rose back in here. Well, I had this beautiful bush clover. If you've not had a bush clover in your yard before, you have missed something. You need to Google it. It has strong roots, will grow in sun or part shade, and in August makes the most beautiful purple flower you've ever seen in your entire life. It gets big and it is phenomenal. Everything else is pretty much, not, it's not showy. And this thing just draws all the hummingbirds. It's fantastic. Well, this thing, this imaginary bush clover that you don't see right now, has now moved. Oh, that's Mavis's bed, in case anybody was wondering. Over here, as of I think yesterday, and it's going to sit back in this spot and give color to this dark green color. And so I had to take the rosemary and move it over here when I moved that over there. And I like it so much better because now the roses are going to have plenty of room. So, hey Rexana, this is your rose bush, and there's another one behind it and another one on the other side. It's doing great, girl. Okay, so now as we're walking around, this came from Jade. It was a handful of little pink roses. Well, the problem is I had built this willow fence, and the willow fence is great, but it rots in about 2 years. It just 3 years max, unless you triple it up like I did this one, which when I say that, I mean you take 3 strands and make 3 different bands, and you braid it just like you would braiding hair, but 3 strands per band. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, it makes it stronger, lasts a little longer. So anyway, what happened was, again, Amy and I had gone down and gotten some of these boxwoods, and the boxwoods were okay. See, they're a little rough. Well, isn't that fantastic to act as a frame for these roses that got so big and needed to climb somewhere and were breaking my fence? So there you have it. It is now holding up the roses, and it'll be covered in pink roses before you know it. So that's kind of exciting. These little fake plants on the end, yes, I use fakes. I have no shame. They were in the front of the yard and on the other side of the fence, and I just decided, wouldn't it look so good to have something to anchor both sides of my rose bush? Also, if you see this little sign, it says Margaret's Path. It's important to have smart friends in your life because they keep you from doing things that maybe would have made it hard on yourself. This little garden, rose garden, is called Margaret's Path because I thought, wouldn't it be fantastic to just load this whole back up with roses? And that way, this would just be a semicircle, right? Margaret said, Laurel, you're going to have to be able to get to your roses to tend them. And so I don't wind up in the emergency room covered in scratches. I took her advice and I built Margaret's Path that goes all the way around the back. And now I can get to all my roses, and it just makes so much more sense. So I am super, super happy about that. Okay, now let's go down and I'll show you what else kind of changes that I've made. Let's not even talk about the window boxes and the boxes here because that is an episode in itself. So this is my sun garden, and I completely believe in using Larapi. Now, I'm not going to start on the invasive talk because so many people have strong feelings, but if you feel like you can control it and it's your personal decision, for me, this works for me. I like knowing that I have Larapi mixed in with my plants so that it covers the bases, like the base of the plant, and it also stabilizes the ground where I have erosion problems. And get out of my flowers, Mavis. And it also blends in so pretty with the phlox that gets pretty tall, and the daylilies that are going to come that get pretty tall, and it sort of holds them up so I don't have to stake them. All right, so anyway, I have changed this a million times, and so the other day I wound up doing some yarrow, and the yarrow that has been growing beautifully. Thank you very much to all my friends who shared yarrow with me for trades and just for because they're wonderful humans. The yarrow was starting to fall, so I staked it up and moved it to a different place. So it's got a little bit more support. So I'm really happy about that. Then I had a goldfish plant here, and because this guy right here is going to have long tendrils, because it's a weeping buddleia and it looks like wisteria, and I keep it cropped into a tree form. It's going to shade this out, the space, and also this big hydrangea, I mean azalea, and then the hydrangeas behind it. So this guy wasn't going to get enough sun. So I put, yes, this was this week. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember. So I went ahead and I put in the trailing hydrangea here, and I took the goldfish plant and put it in the best spot over here where it gets the most sun. So it's in a good space, and the other goldfish plant that is right over here, and it gets the best space. So the goldfish are doing fine. No need to buy more goldfish at this time. So now, as we go through here, all that was filled up with border garden, and I changed my mind. So I yanked it out, and I put the good ones here, shared the other good ones with friends, and loaded this up with hydrangeas. Well, I was watching another video, and now I've got a plan. So this one guy, he had hydrangeas, but he made sure that he had the ones that bloom off and on through the entire blooming season. He had some that just bloom in the spring, like trailing hydrangeas just bloom in the spring. He had some blooming in the summer, some blooming in the fall. So I was like, well, why not? So I'm going to start getting the ones that bloom early and late, since I have a bunch of the middle of the summer ones, and start swapping them out. So I'll be sharing hydrangeas with people as I go. I'm not there yet, but getting there. And then I'll swap them out so that I always have continuous blooms. So the other thing that I did was I went crazy with tree form everything. I know that snow ice thing it just changed my whole life. At first it put me on a garden schedule, which added so much stress. I thought you just garden when you felt like it, but apparently everything has a schedule and things have to be done. Who knew? So anyway, the other thing was learning how to tree form everything. So I tree formed a bunch of camellias, and I have the camellias against the back wall over there tree formed. And the reason that I did that was, yes, it's cool, but also if things are tree formed, it gives light and prevents a lot of disease because it gets more oxygen to the understory plants. So now when all of these hydrangeas grow in, they're able to get a little bit more light since it's a shady area, and they get to get some air. Well, actually not a whole lot of air because I talk a lot and I'm in the garden a lot. So anyway, air's kind of optional. So here's the next thing. See those little sticks right there? Well, they weren't there a couple of months ago. I saw a video. I know, stinking snowstorm's going to ruin me. And they made hydrangea trees. Well, let me show you what a hydrangea tree is. Oh, first let me tell you, to stay on topic, I had those hydrangeas planted over here, and then I yanked them up and I moved them over here, and I picked off all the leaves. Jim Putnam had a good video about how to make a hydrangea tree, and his is beautiful. It takes a couple of years, but it won't cost you several $100s. So you basically plant it, pull off all the leaves except the top one, let it go as high as you want it to go, and then and make sure to stake it so it won't tip over. And then when you get it as high as you want, then you let it go ahead and branch out, and it makes a full top sort of like a lollipop, right? So I want to make sure to wall off my garden in here so it'll have hydrangea trees running down the side. And again, because I've left the bottom open and put it in a tree form, the rest of the plants will get light and sun, they get air, the whole thing. So anyway, so the tree tops will be, the hydrangea top will be pretty high. Okay, so those got moved from over here. I'm putting in new stuff over here that are going to be all hydrangeas, right? And then when you come over on this side, I had two of the trailing hydrangeas. This is called Fresco here. And I got one from a retail store, and I realized that it was a little leggy, but it was a bigger plant and it was long, right? It's healthy looking, but it's okay. It's a little bit leggy, but that's okay because I want it to trail. Let me show you what I got from an online plant seller. Theirs came, it was smaller, but you can tell it's been trimmed up a lot. So it's a older plant, healthier in that there's a lot of branching on it. So it's got a little bit better chance of success, I would think. And it's in this pot and it's super full. It's just short because they've made sure to give it a really good chance with all of the new growth. So that's the difference on that. So that one used to be in with this one till I changed my mind. Okay, here's where the biggest change is. Margaret Woodley's mother let me have her clothesline poles, which made me so happy. Someone from the seed library left this trellis, which I traded for, and I'm so happy. And so I had grown up two Lady Banks roses, which I know is way too much, on each pole. Well, I couldn't wait for it to hurry up and cross the little line. I was tired of telling everybody what it was going to do. So I yanked up this Lady Banks rose that's going across the vine now from over there just before my open garden, and I planted on the back of the trellis. Way, way, way too many Lady Banks roses in one spot. But guess what? I am the anchor. They will be moved. However, at least I'll have instant gratification for the short term. Now, that rose right there is the Generous Gardener. It's beautiful. It's a David Austin that was going to grow big and fast, but it's not there yet. So while I'm waiting, I'm letting Lady Banks do her thing, which I'm so glad for. Now see all of these boxwoods? They're going to be squared up and they're going to get high and go to the bottom of where the climbing roses are going to be on the clothesline. So that way I won't see my neighbor and I'll have coverage across the top. But just in case that's not high enough, I have the beautiful clerodendron plants. Yes, I know all the people that say these are not native and they spread and all that. I understand that. I don't want to have a conversation about it. All of these will be picked up, all the ones that fall, and managed the right way. However, for these, they make beautiful hydrangea looking blooms. See the string I've got training them to fall forward? I have this for a reason. I don't know if you can see the strings. I want to make the biggest hedge I can to go higher than the clothesline. And the reason why is this is the path that the deer walk up every night because we have water behind our house. And I don't want them getting a buffet as they walk along the line. So if they have something that they really don't like the smell of and they really don't like the taste of making a buffer, then I've got a better chance of keeping my rose garden. Also, I've planted on the back side of this mint because they hate the smell. So that is intentional and it is my way of deer protection. And so far it's working. Okay, now I have the rose, or what is that, the Alice in Wonderland garden that I've posted a lot about and has worked out really well. The willow on here didn't last as long as I would have hoped for it to last, that had started off the frame. So I wound up having to use two metal frames inside. They were some cheap arches for over a door that I found online. So I was able to take that, and it holds up everything. So I have the seam inside. And then I've got something heavy for my roses to grow on. Well, I have changed my mind on this 15,000 times. I just 2 weeks ago moved this what is that thing called? The little black triangle thing. Anyway, I moved it from over here in a pot so I could put my dead plant, so I would have a form to vine up. It was going to be roses, but I changed my mind again and moved the rose. So now I can use ivy to go up there and keep an eye on it. Then here's some more of the salvage yard stuff that, again, 75 cents. You can't beat that, 75 cents a pound. And then this poor little guy, I love it. It is a flying dragon plant. And the flying dragon, I was inspired when I saw uh, Maria and Eric's flying dragon. If you haven't done their yard tour, you should definitely reach out and talk to them, because it's incredible. But it's a big tree, right? And they make these little fruits, and the fruits turn this orange color, and they're just beautiful. Well, me being me, I had it here and I changed my mind. And then I had it here and I changed my mind. And then I moved it here and I've settled on it. I bent it over, planted it sideways, and now it is an arch. And I just love it. I think it's great. And I went to Vicky Bear's house and pulled up some ivy, because I don't want to see a gel on the backdrop here. I want to see an ivy wall. So that is growing, and hopefully we'll hurry up and get there. And while I'm waiting, I went ahead and got a tropical mandevilla and stuck it on there, just so it will help me get through the growing season. So I have the rose bush that I had taken off of this arch and put it on here, and then changed my mind and moved it back onto this arch. And I'm so much happier with it. I thought I was happy at the time, but now I'm really, really happy. So this is going back to getting a green vine, and it's probably going to be ivy. I just want it green in the winter. And also I want it to be able to hold up when the wood fails and starts to rot. So that way I can just I'll have the form, but I'll be able to just stick a metal rebar in there, and it'll be great. So this pot a day ago used to be here. Now I've moved it back here to go in front of the bush clover there. So I, again, move all of my yard around like furniture. Everybody says, everything's too close, it's gonna outgrow each other. No, I keep shocking it. It's gonna stay miniature. It's basically a bonsai yard. As many times as I move my plants around, it's gonna be fun. And you know what? I have the option of controlling the size and the growth. So Mother Nature takes most of my choices, but as far as that, I have the clippers. So now here are two roses that are going to go up the clematis vine, whichever way you want to say it, that is just starting to bloom. I think I got my first purple flower on this one. And the problem is, in the winter, it starts looking kind of ratty. And so I wanted to get something that was evergreen. So I thought if I went ahead and put an evergreen rose up there, plus a rose that is deciduous, I'm kind of covering the bases. So this one's a Peggy Martin, and the other one I believe is, I'll have to come back to it. I can't remember. So this is a Peggy Martin over here, and this is the first year, and this is how much flowering it's had. It's just incredible. So anyway, I just want to tell you, be fearless. Move your stuff around if you feel like moving your stuff around. Don't overanalyze everything. If it doesn't work out, like I said, we've got the seed library, where it's a great way for you to swap something, so you can try and experiment, see what works well in one spot, what doesn't in another. and just kind of play with it and have fun with your yard. My yard is meant to give me zero stress. The only thing I don't like about gardening, and this is the truth, I do not like having to do maintenance. That means watering, which is not fun to me. Some people absolutely love it. I am too active. It makes me crazy to stand in one place for any length of time. I also am trying something this year, again off of seeing it off a YouTube channel. It's alfalfa meal, and it's something that you put around the base of your roses. I think the middle number is like a 0 or a 0.5 or something like that. Anyway, so that's what I'm trying to as fertilizer, and I have to get down there each month. And I just want you to know, I come up looking like I own cats. Oh my word. Yes, I have gardening gloves. Yes, there's ways to do it, but I'm impulsive and I just want to get it done. And sometimes that walk to the shed is just too far. So, anyway, I'm trying it. We'll see how it goes. I'll let you know. But anyway, again, if you get outside and you're looking at something and it just doesn't look right, get your shovel. And you know what? You're going to be fine. Water it, put good dirt around it, talk to it, and I'm telling you, you got, I'm going to give you more than 50-50. I want to say you've got an 80-20 chance. Or go to Vegas, whichever one makes you happy. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great day.